Okay guys, this morning we're gonna go bust some leftist myths.
Say that 5 times.
Bust some leftist myths. We're up here early because we're gonna run into a bunch of Arab villages.
A couple weeks ago, on one of our shows, we talked about a Peace Now report that said one of the reasons the Palestinians build in Area C is because they have a basic need for shelter. We're gonna go look at Arab Palestinian houses and building all over Samaria, and we're gonna see how many people are actually living here. We're gonna get some facts along the way, we're gonna get some actual shots, we're gonna try and go on location.
We should check this out. So we're just driving on the way down and we're just taking it in as we go. This is a, we don't know the name of this town, but hey guys, look, proof point. Just an average town as we're driving down these Arab roads. We're just gonna take a look at this. Luke, I see probably 50 homes.
Empty house,
Half of them.
empty house, 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 empty house. I'm not even,
At
I'm
least
trying
half.
to find one that's not empty. Okay,
I'm saying at least half.
That one's probably not empty. I see a car too.
Yeah.
Is there another one? Oh, maybe that one. Not empty.
Okay.
So this is a kind of a random, because we're driving past, our GPS took you a random Palestinian town in the West Bank, and about 80% of these houses right on this hilltop are completely empty. All right guys, so we're standing, actually Ramallah and Jerusalem is right over there, and we're standing in the West Bank, and just behind us is a brand new city of Rawabi, which we'll talk about in a second. But Josh and I were doing research, and according to the Al-Quds newspaper, which is the biggest Palestinian daily newspaper here, 400,000 Palestinians have emigrated out of the West Bank in the last couple of decades.
That's right.
Basically, tons of them going to America, going to South America, and they're just leaving. And it's mostly the younger generation. And this is according to their own newspaper, okay? Mostly the younger generation, because they can find better jobs, they can find an easier life. They just want to leave. So one of the things that we talked about a couple weeks ago is Peace Now put out a report that the Palestinians just need basic shelter, so that's why they're illegally building in Area C, right?
That's what they said.
So we've been driving this morning. We have driven through about 8 Palestinian villages, and every village there's tons of building going on because there's 300 left-wing NGOs, mostly European, that fund projects here in the West Bank for Palestinians. And so all these building projects that you're seeing are being funded by left-wing NGOs, mostly from Europe. But tons of them are empty, as you guys have seen, and you're gonna see more. Tons and tons of them are empty because there's no one to move into them. And now we talk about this incredible town right before us, which was started in 2010 by a Palestinian-American businessman named Bashar Masri. And he had a vision to build like the first modern Western city inside the West Bank. And his goal was to try and keep Palestinians from immigrating.
Right.
Because he wanted to give them a vision to stay here. So he's building this beautiful city, and I'm talking high-rise apartments. You're probably talking 10, 20-story apartment buildings, beautiful mosque, school systems, just cultural life. They have a stadium here for 20,000 people, Josh.
Look, and we're sitting here looking at it right now, and this town to me looks like at least, I don't know, 20,000 or so people should actually live inside these homes.
Well, because, yeah, at least half of the apartments we're looking at are finished.
Right. A lot of them are still under construction, but a lot of them are finished, as we can see from right here.
I see one car driving.
Yeah, here's another car down here that just pulled out. We got 2 cars. They say a few dozen people live here.
Yeah, I was looking in as of last fall, they were supposed to start moving in 2015. This is a 10-year construction project now. And as of 6 months ago, there's a few dozen families that have moved in.
They're building a big city like this. This big city does not help in one area. Opportunity is still lacking here in these areas, and the young Arabs are going elsewhere to find it. And I'm telling you, Luke, the opportunity is not, you can go inside of Israel and find plenty of opportunity.
Right.
The opportunity is being smashed by the PA and the governing authorities here that are so corrupt and terrible. So that's the big problem that we have here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to an analysis here. It's not a building crisis.
No,
the Arabs are not looking. Look, there's an entire city sitting here that's empty.
It started being built 10 years ago. Families started moving in a couple years ago, but as of last year, they said only a few dozen lived here. I'm gonna guess, this city's gonna be finished soon. Like, there's very little construction left to do. I'm gonna guess they might not ever fill it up. 40,000 people, they might not ever fill this city up, sadly.
So we're gonna go now, guys. We're gonna actually drive through. We're gonna see it close. Actually, right now, we're just a few hundred yards away, and we can get a pretty good view, but we're gonna go close. We're gonna see if it's actually finished, and if we see any life, and if maybe we can get a hold of somebody actually inside the town, maybe get a few words.
Okay guys, we're driving up to Rawabi right now. The more I read about it, the more impressive it really is. It's a town for 40,000 people. Wow. We gotta find the main entrance. There's like this really cool entrance. They call it the Circle of Hope. Oh, let's try going that way.
Go up that way?
Yeah.
I just gotta see this mosque. Look at this.
Oh, look, there's the English Academy. This place is gonna be open for tourists. They're even gonna have a vineyard and a winery.
And a church?
And a church, yeah. Interfaith. Okay, here's they call this the Circle of Hope. This rock is supposed to have fallen out of the sky and cracked the earth. I have no idea why. I don't know why it's called the Circle of Hope.
So obviously, guys, Luke, okay, how many $1 billion for...
$1.4 billion to build this city.
$1.4 billion, and it's not just about building this city. It's about getting Arabs not to leave Palestine.
Yeah.
Like, this is the idea.
It's amazing. Let me go down. Well, it says center is that way.
Let's find the center, eh?
That'd be cool. I'm guessing nobody lives here if there's no cars. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, there's 2 cars. They might be at the construction site.
Yeah.
Parking lot's closed. If people lived in these apartments, there should be cars parked out here, right?
Yeah, this is a mall here.
These apartments on the right are definitely finished. You can tell that. I'm going to show you these vehicles. There's a little playground. Look at this F-150, brand new truck. That is a Israeli license plate. Israeli.
These are people that live
Israeli. Here. Yeah, obviously they live here. This is not like the construction zone. But what that tells you is that these are Israeli Arabs, not Palestinian Authority. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Obviously it's early, but we're driving through Rawabi. Haven't seen any cars on the street except for like 2 workers by the construction site, and there's 2 cars that have driven by since then. So we just decided to get out and walk around. This is the Nablus center of town. Oh yeah, and that's, they also have Jaffa Gate, and they have Gaza Gate. I think they have the gates like named after Jerusalem or something.
So obviously this place is incredibly modern.
Hey, here's somebody. This is like the security guy.
Yeah, maybe. I see the
like
Palestinian flags. Pretty incredible setup. So it looks like a big mall.
Uh-huh.
Like something you would find in, I don't know, it looks like New York or something.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Good. You speak English? No English?
No, Arab.
Just Arab? Is there somebody here? Okay guys, we're here in Rawabi. We've got a lot to cover. This town has about, they're hoping to get about 40,000 people here. Right now at the most liberal stance, we could say maybe 4,000 people live here, and that's very liberal. We didn't see that. We just did a whole tour of the whole area here, and each one of these apartment buildings, we saw a little bit. Like we saw like evidence of people living, like maybe clothes hanging out or chairs out on the porches of maybe like 1 or 2 of the apartments in the entire apartment buildings, as well, like zero life. Maybe a few cars, and mostly Israeli Arab cars, which is actually fascinating as well.
So basically he's building this town totally westernized. We saw shopping malls, there's a stadium here that can seat 15 to 20,000 people. Everything, like high-rise apartments, the biggest mosque in the whole entire area except for Temple Mount, you know, Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount. This is the second biggest mosque right here. So like the most beautiful city you can imagine. The whole entire goal is to keep the Palestinians here. 10 years after the project started, we saw maybe 50 cars parked in the parking garages and outside apartments. We saw, like you said, 1 to 2 families in every apartment building, maybe living.
Israel actually helped with this town. They gave permission to build it. So there's a little bit of a cooperation going on between Israel and the Palestinians in order to build this town, which is offensive to most of the PA leadership that's in charge. So they've actually, it's halted the process big time. With that, that's one reason why we're not seeing people come here. One other thing that I'd like to say about this is that they did a survey, and 22% of the Arab population in this area wish to immigrate elsewhere. Therefore, Luke, you're saying that this westernized town is an attempt to try to keep people here.
It's like trying to make an America here.
Trying, yeah.
I think we're about to get kicked out again.
Attempts to keep America here. Guys, that's what we've got so far. And hopefully we'll see what these guys have to say too. Maybe we can get some something out of them as well. We can stop. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good day. No problem. No problem.
Okay, guys. So 7:30, and we just got kicked out by security of Rawabi. I guess you have to have a permit or permission to film. So let's go see what else we can find. And
Check some more Arab town.
That is Rawabi.
Like, that's just wild. Like, that is just completely empty. Okay, guys, so yet again, a completely empty Arab town. I mean, look at this. Nothing. An entire village here.
Trees growing inside this building right here.
So obviously, okay, Luke, this one was began to be built and just stopped. But this one down here, like, beautiful house, like, looks super great, but nobody lives here. Totally empty. Just a town, empty. All right, let's drive around and get a little more view of the place.
I was a letdown. I'm on a palm tree lined entrance and it's like, boom, paint store. Hey guys, so we're undercover operations here, but we're in a town called Turmus Ayya. They call it like the America of the West Bank, and that's because, and we just found this out, these statistics are even better than what you can read about online. We just met a local who was born here, lived for like 20 years in Puerto Rico, businessman, came back here. He has an American passport, a Jordanian passport, and a Palestinian passport. He told us 95% of this town is American, 5% is Palestinian, and there's 11,000 residents, but only 2,000 people are here right now. Like, everybody speaks English, and he's bringing us over to what he said is the city hall. We can meet like maybe a city official.
Yeah.
See if we can film, I don't know.
Turmus Ayya, it lays down between Ramallah city and Nablus. It's in the middle way of between Ramallah and Nablus. The population of Turmus Ayya in the city is around 4,000 person who live in Turmus Ayya, and there is around 8,000 person live abroad. In summertime, most of the people live abroad. They come visit their family here, and some of them, they come, they bring their kids with them to go to school to learn Arabic and to learn Palestinian culture. The area of Turmus Ayya village, it's 17,600 square dönüm. You divide it by 4, you will get acres.
Yeah.
Because the measurement you have in USA is an acre. Yeah, so most of the people here work as a farmers. This village famous of olive trees, and most of the production from olive trees, which is the oil, they send it to USA. They export it to USA, and we have also a land, flat land. We call it Sahel Turmus Ayya, which is around 4,000 dönüm. It means 1,000 acre, and they cultivate it with wheat and all kinds of seeds. People in Turmus Ayya, they are friendly, and they used to live peacefully before the Israelis built settlements near Turmus Ayya. Actually now there are 6 settlements surrounded Turmus Ayya from the north side and from the east side, and those settlers they made a lot of aggressions against not people of Turmus Ayya only, but the Palestinian people around Turmus Ayya. They usually cut olive trees, they burn cars. As in the 9th of this month, February 2120, they burned 2 cars and for Palestinian from this village, for 2 guys from this village. And they broke down the glasses of 2 cars. Also, those cars belong to the people from Turmus Ayya.
I heard Turmus Ayya, maybe the first wealthiest town inside of the West Bank area. Is that it's very, very well off here? People are very well to do?
They are, as you said, they are, but not Turmus Ayya only. A lot of cities who their inhabitants go to Brazil, go to Colombia, go to United States, to Panama, So they work over there hard, and they make money.
You yourself are an American citizen?
Yes, I am American citizen. Also, those people, they don't go only for money. A lot of them go for education. As a matter of fact, I went to USA around 1975, last century, and I finished my education from IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. So the main purpose of which the immigrant people, they have in their mind, it's to go to get their education from USA or from all over.
You mentioned a lot of people are not living here. They're abroad.
Yeah, they are abroad, but they have houses here.
Yeah, homes.
They have homes here. They come visit their families here. They come oftenly on summertime, but not last year because of the corona. It was.
How many people do you say are here now?
Around 4,000 people. Around, more or less.
What's the best thing about the city?
The best thing about the city, their people. The people who lives in this city, because they are well educated and they are friendly, and they love their city and they love their land.
What's the hardest thing that you deal with as the mayor? What's the hard things that you have to take care of here?
Yeah, the hardest thing is to make people, not to break the law.
Bring Peace.
Yeah, peace, and to build their houses according to what the formulas which we have, and according to the law. Also, the hardest thing is to face those settlers who do a lot of aggressions against the people. And as you know, we are unarmed people and they are armed people. And I go over there when we have a fight with them, and I feel disappointed because I can't do nothing for the people.
Okay guys, it's been a great search today. We've been in the Ritz of Arab towns, we've been in the grubs of the Arab towns, down in the hollows and backsides of the towns. Right now we're inside of the town of Turmus Ayya. We've talked to the locals here, we've also got the interview with the mayor, Mayor Wadi here, and the only discrepancy I find is that the mayor says there's 4,000 people in the town out of 11,000 members, and the local says that there's only 2,000 people here. Look at this massive town. I'm telling you, most of the houses that you see out here are completely empty. The majestic houses you're seeing here, they're not just houses, okay? They're palaces, they're villas. These houses are empty, and right now they've actually been empty for a year. These houses are sitting here completely empty. We saw it time and time again today as we traveled through the Arab villages, empty house upon empty house throughout the area. So, Luke, we're gonna bust 2 myths. You ready?
Yeah.
Here it is. Go for it.
So we started out the day, we said the goal was to bust the myth that the Palestinians have a housing crisis because of the, quote, occupation by Israel, that they can't have good lives, they can't have places to build. Israel won't give them permits to build in Area C, so they have to build illegally because obviously they need a roof over their head. That was myth number 1. We went to Rawabi. I think we pretty well busted that myth.
Busted.
And then we came to Turmus Ayya and obviously busted that myth again, because a town where they say they have 11,000 residents, but yet there's 2,000 people right here because the rest of them live in America. But the myth number 2, I think that we didn't even start out to bust, is that all Palestinians live in abject poverty, which is, we'll let it speak for themselves. Yeah, the palaces that we've seen, obviously, yes, there's Palestinians living in poverty, but many of them not whatsoever.
Luke, and I just remember we actually busted a 3rd myth. Are you ready for this? The mayor himself said the biggest issue here is getting the locals to go to build in an orderly fashion. That was the biggest problem. And obey the local laws. That was the words out of the mayor's mouth. We'll replay it on the show exactly what he said, right? You'll hear it right out of his own mouth. And then he remembered the political lines. And I'll tell you, he forgot his political lines. It was a failure on his part. He forgot to say that the problem was the occupation of the Israeli soldiers. I'm telling you guys, we just found out right out of the horse's mouth the real problem that lies within the communities themselves here, these Arab communities. Lawlessness. Breaking the law is the biggest problem we've got here. So guys, there you go, 3 myths busted. The video shows it for itself.
Guys, this has been a very special segment of the Joshua and Caleb Report. Let us know if you enjoyed it, like going out and seeing the people and the places up close and personal. Put a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe on Rumble. In the meantime, be strong, be courageous, and be the voice of Joshua and Caleb in your generation.